Depending on how long you leave. Please tell me it's not going over there, Robert. You could have gave me the sign, man. You could have gave me the sign. I was waiting for this. Well, you know I don't listen.
So Fabi uses the Just for Men and the brush kind, the kind that you brush.
I remember I gave his real name out the last time.
Yeah, it's okay. They know my name.
Yeah.
Anaconda.
I knew it was on. I'm a dick. Confirm the rumors.
Chulo.
Now that picture right there was definitely a good picture of me using the proper beard dye in that specific picture or that photo shoot. Well, we're here, we're live. You're here at Full Contact Fanatics. Just a tad bit late going on the air, but don't forget you can always go to onthemat.com, check out all the latest information, all the videos and stuff. Rafael Lobato Jr. is getting ready for another Bellator. You can check out some of his stuff there. Also, don't forget myluckygee.com. Make sure you check that out. Got the latest geese out there. We talked about the hemp gi that was coming on. So make sure you check us out there. We're live. I got to tell you, man, I was inundated with just questions and bad and good statements, information, all that stuff. But sitting live in direct method to my right, the man who backed, when they say backed by popular demand, that's like a, I don't know what you like a cliche or whatever, but definitely backed by popular demand, Joseph Cabibbo. Joseph, how are you, my friend?
I'm so good, man. Thank you so much.
I'm telling you, man, so much to talk about. We're going to get going. But, of course, sitting direct method to my left, Dando himself. And we're usually jiu-jitsu, judo-based and all that. But when he heard that Joseph was coming, he said, dude, I got to come and sit in with you guys. Because just strictly from business aspect and things like that. Got Jessica. She's going to be sitting in the producer spot today. So if you got any questions, or we'll try to get to them. But I got so much. We'll see what we can do. But she's going to be in the producer spot checking all the stuff on the computer. If you have any questions or you want to get in the chat room, make sure you do that. Miguel's going to be hanging out with us, too. He's over here on my right. He'll be chiming in every now and again. And, of course, Robert, with all this, wouldn't be possible because he's going to be getting us in and out and taking care of business. But anyways, Joseph, you know, so much to talk about. Of course, PCW Ultra's right around the corner. But, we talked a little bit before we went on the air, and I talked to you before, too, just talking before you came on, about how much inundated I was with, like, the first time you came on, people watched, I got some feedback. They're like, oh, well, he should do this and do that, not too bad. And then when we're going to have you on, I got a few questions, but for some reason on this particular one, when I said, okay, he's definitely coming, we're going to have him on, just massive. I had to actually sit up and sort through everything to figure out what would be most important or what would be the best for us. So, first of all, we talked a little bit before you went on the air, and we talk a lot about busyness and stuff like that. They said James Brown was the hardest working man in music, but you've got to be the hardest working man in pro wrestling. We talked a little bit before we went on the air, and basically what we talked about is how much you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. Correct?
True. Well, first of all, I love the James Brown comparison.
Exactly.
I've never been compared to James Brown before, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of work. It's my passion. It's my life. It's everything I do. And in order for it to be as successful as it's been, it takes a lot of work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't have all day to, because like people were like, well, ask him this, and I go, before you know it, an hour's gone. It would take literally, I would say 3 to 4 hours just to get everything in. So we're going to try to get to as much as we can in this show right here. But first of all, for the people listening to us, you definitely, I mean, more than likely everybody knows exactly what's going on, especially if you're a big wrestling fan. But the big show that's coming up is PCW Ultra. It's the anniversary A2K18. It's Friday, January 19th. It's at the ILW Memorial Hall. It's at 231 West C Street in Wilmington, California. You can always go to PCWUltra.com to get all the latest information and stuff like that if you want to go. Now, we'll talk real quick about what's happening, because a lot of people tell me, man, when you go, not only is there a show, but there's a lot of stuff to do. You got the meet and greets, and a lot of guys selling merch. We bought merch when we went to the one that you had over there in Long Beach. But if you're a platinum member, from 5:30 to 7:30. So those people actually get to come in first. Is that how that works?
Yeah, the platinum members come in from 5:30 to 7:30. They used to have a 1-hour meet and greet, but we made it a 2-hour meet and greet. It's, just in case they miss a little bit of it, we want them to have all the time that they possibly can have. And then the gold members, which are 3 and 4,
Right.
they come in at 6:30 to 7:30, and then general admission is let in at 7:30 after the meet and greet.
Okay.
And
So-
part of our meet and greet is UFC Hall of Famer Stephan Bonner's going to be there.
Yeah,
Woo!
that's right.
Yeah.
And, I was putting together the show, and so many things came up after I had already put it together. I saw Stephan Bonner was going to be there. Now, is he starting to indulge in the pro? One of the questions I got to that I wasn't even going to get to, but I got a lot of people asking me why doesn't he use Matt Riddle, because I guess he used to be in the UFC and he kind of went to pro wrestling and stuff like that. So is Stephan Bonner kind of trying to get into that same type of realm?
Stephan Bonner contacted us. He's very high on PCW.
Yeah.
He wanted to be there. We didn't have him booked for this show, and he was adamant that he wanted to come. So, and he wants to compete at PCW. So, as of right now, he's just going to be involved in the meet and greet. We had this booked a long time ago.
Yeah.
No disrespect to him at all. He's a UFC Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but that says a lot about you for somebody like to say, hey, man, I still would like to come down.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on record as saying that Stephan Bonner was probably one of the most underrated fighters.
Sure.
I mean, of course, his fight with Forrest Griffin literally
It's a big boy.
put that on the map.
That's right.
Or whatever, really, and UFC Hall of Famer, and so that speaks a
Yeah.
lot to them saying, hey, man, why don't you let me come
Hey,
down for a
he's
while?
a pro, and we love dealing with professionals, and hey, we're gonna welcome him with open arms, and we're gonna see what
that
the future
dude's-
lies for him.
That dude is definitely the real deal.
Yeah, as far as Matt Riddle, to be 100% honest, we had Matt Riddle booked on our first anniversary show, which was January of 2017, and he took another date without telling us.
Oh.
And that was really kind of before we exploded.
Yeah.
And, he's supposed to pay us back on that, and
So far, I haven't heard anything.
yeah, I mean, here
Now,
and there,
now,
he's just
I would imagine you
he's
don't
laid
get-
back.
Yeah, I don't imagine you get that very often, right?
Well, in the beginning, it would happen here and there, trying to secure a piece of talent early on.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't really happen. Now
wouldn't think
everybody's
so.
now everybody's knocking on our door, which is really nice. So we're able to pick and choose who we use, and to be quite honest, I'm looking at not only the best athletes in the world, but the most professional.
Right.
People that are accountable for their actions, people that are punctual. Yeah,
It's funny that you say that because Jessica and Oscar and I were watching the New Japan, and I was telling Oscar, because he's just starting to get into the business, I go, let me tell you something. You go to Japan, if they say the bus is leaving at 3:30, you're there at 3:15.
Yeah.
And if you're not there at 3:30, that bus is going to leave you behind, and you're never going to come back.
We're almost like a finishing school because we weed out those guys
Right.
super fast. So if you can't get past our company, you're not going to get to those other companies. So, we like to deal with professionals. There's too many moving parts, and when it all runs on one day, that show there's a lot
Right.
going on. You can't be waiting for somebody who says they're supposed to be there. If we have a commitment for an interview at 3 p.m. and they don't show up till 5,
man. Yeah, it makes no sense. But it's funny that you say that, because Oscar, who's getting into the business, and it's I'm an old man, so he picks my brain for things like that. And we were talking about the Ribeiro jacket. He didn't even know what a Ribeiro jacket was.
Yeah.
So I talked about that, and he said, well, does Joseph have it? I said, yeah. I said, when he went, if you would have watched the first show, he said, well, I waited for a specific time till I had both belts and pulled up the picture. And I'm like, dude, that is something that you cannot buy.
Yeah.
You have to earn that or whatever. So we talked a little about that. Go ahead,
can
Jessica.
we give a shout out to PCW Security. Biggie Biggs is watching right now.
Hey, what's up, Big A?
Real quick before we continue, let me tell you something. I stopped for quite a while, first because of injuries, and was out of the loop until Jessica started training and stuff. Biggie Biggs is one of the few people that I actually trust in the ring. Him and I have wrestled all over, and then you kind of get to what's the word I'm looking for? Not a bond or whatever, but because I was married to him for almost like about a year. We were doing a lot of shows.
Yeah.
And he's one dude that I completely, totally trust because he knows my style, and I don't even have to tell him what's coming on. He already knows.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
and he's a good guy, and we like good people.
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
So.
And
we have a photo of Biggie Biggs actually doing the security at PCW Young Guns. I'll see if Robert can get it up.
I felt so bad for him
have
because we were at Young Guns, and I'm an old man, and I'm standing. He goes, "Hey man, if you want, I'll get you a chair right here, dude." Because I was 3 weeks out.
Oh man, you just come to me, man. So take care of you.
He came and said, "Hey man, sit right here, or whatever." So I sit right there, dude. Warbeast comes out. the Cowboys come out. I'm like, dude, this, and next thing I know, bam, right through the table that was right, and I can't move that fast. You know.
Sorry about that.
So luckily, Biggie Biggs came and he blocked, but his glasses, he didn't have a chance to take them off. They went flying, and the people loved it, man. I mean, it was totally awesome. We're gonna talk a little bit about that.
There was a nice little jolt in that show.
It was awesome, and it left a good impression on Jessica because she said the same thing. She said, we saw a lot of high moves and stuff with the young guys, and then those guys came out and just did damage. And I said, see, that's what I'm talking about.
You know what's super awesome about that match? Just the sidebar is there was a police siren the whole time going off. So as we're wrestling, it's like, wow,
and it's like, man,
it really worked for the match. I love it.
It was awesome. So we're going to talk about that too. But also, besides the PCW big show that's going to be coming up on Friday, January 19th, bringing down the Great Muta, and you're going to have the seminar. But the seminar's the next day, correct?
Yes.
It's the Great Muta seminar is Saturday, January 20th. It's at 12 noon. It's going to be at the Santino Brothers Wrestling.
That's correct.
If you want to come and check it out, it's
now.
Go ahead.
Let's stop there for a second. The Great Muta is having a seminar in Southern California. First of all, the Great Muta hasn't been here in like a decade.
And even Sports Illustrated or something like that picked it up.
Yeah, Sports Illustrated picked it up. Sports Illustrated is going to be at the next show, but the Great Muta is going to, not only is he going to be here, but he's going to host a seminar.
Exactly.
That's when we negotiated Muta, I went out of my way to negotiate that deal for the wrestlers in Southern California because not only, first of all, everybody wants to go to Japan, but you're dealing with one of the biggest shot callers of all time in Japanese wrestling, one of the greatest legends of all time, let alone not just Japanese wrestling and professional wrestling. And he's coming here to do a seminar. That's unheard of, and that's just amazing. So there's a lot of spots left on that. Embarrassingly, a lot of spots on there. I'm looking for people at the final stretch to fill that seminar up because that's an opportunity of a lifetime.
I would agree 100%. When I was working and stuff like that, that's when the NWO had first come to fruition, and I really wasn't down with it. But then when they had NWO Japan and they brought in Great Muta, that was a completely total. I was a NWO mark from then. Still wear NWO today, but I always had the Japan patch on because when it was him, Scott Norton, Masahiro Chono, that's when it was bad. Yeah, and Muta's the one who brought he's probably one of the main guys who actually got Japan on the map for the United States.
Muta's one of the biggest shot callers there, man.
Exactly.
And if you want to be seen, you want to be seen by Muta.
It would behoove you to go to the seminar because, like we're talking about, there's things that are invaluable. To get somebody with experience like that, and if you're working and stuff, and he says, "Hey, man, you got something here," coming from him, that's saying something.
I did a seminar that had it was called the Fighting Spirit Challenge, and one of the guys that was in that challenge was a wrestler by the name of Stephen Walters. Stephen Walters is now Dash Wilder in the WWE. So I mean, these things, he ended up winning, and he ended up going to Japan for a few months, and these things spawn a lot of opportunities. That's how things happen.
I would agree because I would say now, independent wrestling, going to Japan, guys who've been working for years are leaving specific companies just because they know if they can get out there to Japan, New Japan, All Japan, whatever, it's moving, it's rolling out there. So don't forget, if you want to come and check that out, you can. It's going to be Saturday, January 20th, the day after, at 12 noon at Santino Brothers. It's at 5640 Shoal Street, Unit 5 in Bell Gardens. Now, I know Joey opened up another what do you call those things? And then
A bay or
another
whatever.
bay or whatever with another ring. So there's plenty of room or whatever. So if you definitely want to check that out, can they go to PCW Ultra to find out specifics for that?
Yeah,
or?
PCW Ultra is the hub for everything. Anything you want, PCW's there.
PCWUltra.com. So
Correct.
make sure you check that out. Everything comes up on there. So you definitely want to check that out. We'll talk a little bit more about that too. So before we get into some questions, I want to talk real quick a little bit about the card, because Jessica and I went to Young Guns, and we talked, because unfortunately Jessica works with me too, and it's a 20 to 30 minute drive to Torrance. So she gets an earful, whether she's awake or not, about wrestling, especially now that she's working and stuff like that.
That's good.
And we talked.
She handles it well.
And now she kind of sees. I say, that's why PCW is having the success that they have. They mix it up, and it's funny that we talked about that too, because people say, well, why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? And I said, I don't know, but I don't know if PCW's went into the comedy type of things or whatever. And then I see Mariachi Loco against Kikutaro.
Yeah.
And when you say Kikutaro, that dude is the epitome
Yeah.
of that type of thing. So we talk about that, mixing it up. You're not just going to see a bunch of moves. You're going to see this, but then we're going to have, this going on in this type of match or whatever. So it's really a big mixture. Me personally, even though I didn't get to see it because unfortunately I have to work and pay bills, when you booked Damien and Bestia,
Yeah.
that's the match I wanted to see, because that I said, see, now I want to see that.
Yeah, I worked those guys for Ray
Crash?
they want to say San Diego, but it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
San Diego.
Chula Vista.
I don't know. It's
Somewhere out in that area.
But
But
those
that-
guys are awesome. I love those
Exactly.
guys.
That mixes it up. So, okay. So now the main event is going to be Sami Callihan and Johnny Ultra, who is Johnny Mundo, Johnny Hennigan, or whatever, against Great Muta and Pentacero. That is a mixture that right there intrigues me, because that's a big mix of different talent.
And it's really cool because Penta for is like the Mexican Muda.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? And Muda's a huge legend, and he loves Muda.
Right.
So putting those guys together is a gift to Penta as well.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't hurt your stock in wrestling
Oh.
to be partners with the great Muda.
Far and away, and
Yeah.
it makes sense. That's going to be a good mixture. And then going against Sami Callihan and of course Johnny Ultra.
Yeah, John's amazing.
Those dudes are hell of workers, man.
Yeah, yeah.
For the people who haven't seen Sami Callihan, he's just I don't want to say coming up, but he's there. But
Sammy's
a lot of people,
on fire.
Yeah,
in the indies
now
right
he's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
starting to.
John
to pick
Hennigan
up
is
steam.
possibly in the best shape in the entire wrestling.
Oh yeah,
business. He's
and
amazing.
I don't think he's ever really been out of shape, has he?
No,
I
he's.
don't think I've ever seen that.
But
dude
not
out of shape.
only the way he looks, like the dude is like legit. Like his core strength is. He did a feat of strength online the other day. He's just amazing. He's
When the Lucha Underground first was getting everything together, they had a big media day, which is, and again, they're smart, because they called me when I was on the mat and say, hey, look, we know you have a certain amount of listeners. Why don't you come to media day and get some stuff
Mm-hmm.
out there? And he was doing like those, I don't know what you call those pull-ups where you go all the way up and push yourself up.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Never did one. Don't
But
want to do
I
one.
saw
Don't
that,
know
I'm
about
like,
it.
dude, he
Yeah.
he looks good, but it ain't all for show. The dude can go.
and
so
and he's one of the most professional
Yes.
guys in the business, bar none. I mean, you talk about guys that can't get back on the phone, but big, huge stars like John can,
Right.
gets back to you in 5 seconds. So-
Jessica, would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, because we got to meet Johnny Mundo at the Wrestling Guy store. This
With-
is before he was with Taya.
Yeah, when Taya Valkyrie was there, and who's the guy who took my shirt?
PJ Black.
PJ
right?
Black.
Yeah, yeah.
PJ Black.
We
So
were waiting on Jack Evans.
yeah,
John's a great guy.
yeah, very nice, very
and if
nice,
we can
and
give two shout outs to Johnny Varela's watching, and Arturo Ramos wants to tell everybody what's up.
oh,
The
of course,
homies.
and of course Giovanni Varela definitely going to be back over there, a huge part of the Full Contact
That's
Fanatics.
right.
Giovanni, we're going to be
He's our brother.
Going to implement some judo techniques, so in case get back in the ring, we could defend ourselves, and that is the epitome of judo and sambo and jiu-jitsu.
And
Giovanni
jiu-jitsu.
Varela. A million thank yous for checking it out.
And
Now,
Arturo Ramos representing that
of
wrestling
course,
crew out
Arturo's
there in
always-
South
usually
County.
He's here and he's
That's right.
eating tacos de carnitas over there. I don't know where
He
he's
does
at
put
today,
away
but-
some tacos.
Then we got, of course, it's Joey Janela, right?
Yeah, Joey
And
Janela
Jimmy Jacobs
and-
against War Beast. Now that's War Beast with
Me,
Fatu.
yeah, me and Fatu. Yeah, that's gonna be.
Do Joey Janela and Jimmy Jacobs have any idea what they're in for?
They have no idea.
Because I was sitting right there, and was a Haas Hog, and then they were, when the match was over, you're walking out, and they're literally like this going.
Oh boy,
happened?
I can still go.
I mean, it was amazing.
We have that photo too. I sent that one to Robert because I actually went behind Fa because I think that was the time when didn't Joseph you unscrewed somebody's water and threw it.
A big water jug.
A water jug.
Yeah, because the people in front of us had a big joy, and it was gone. And I'm like, dude, that's gone. You're not gonna get that back. So. We got that match coming up. Make sure you want to check that one out. Then we got, is it Genseki Tanaka?
Yes.
Against Douglas James. We talked about Douglas James a lot before we went on the air. Now, bringing Tanaka in against him, talk about that with Jessica too. When you can work with anybody, that says a lot about you. When, again,
and foreign wrestlers that don't speak English.
I wanted to go so bad, but working and stuff like that, when I wanted to go is when somebody backed out and you brought in Zack Sabre Jr. And
Yes.
I said, for him to be wrestling against Zack Sabre Jr. says a lot about him because that dude can go.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good match. So now you just went on, and now we got it going against Tanaka.
Yeah, it's funny because everybody was telling me that we were burying Douglas James, but Douglas James is.
I kind of thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought, man, is he going to be able to hang? But the whole feedback was, dude, you should have seen that match.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm not talking about in that match. I mean, in general, like we were burying him in our company, and he's probably got more opportunities than anybody in Southern California in 2017.
I would agree 100% with
so,
that. And for the people,
I bury people a different way than other people.
Yeah, but it's a good. But that makes him a better worker because he
what I'm
steps up
doing.
to the challenge.
Yeah, that's.
But for the people listening who might not be familiar with Zack Sabre Jr., the reason I like that guy, I watch a lot of his stuff, is he went to Mexico and wrestled Negro Navarro, who's considered the best technical wrestler ever. And he went out there, and I thought, oh, he's not going to know what. And that match, if you get a chance to check that out on YouTube, Zack Sabre Jr. against Negro Navarro, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Zack's no joke.
It speaks to PCW to say, well, look, let's bring this guy, let's put him against Douglas James, and it works.
We're talking about the best in the world.
I agree.
And putting Douglas with somebody that's considered the best technical wrestler in the world is a huge opportunity, and that's what we're doing. We're developing these opportunities for the local guys as well as shedding a ton of light on the local scene. You know,
it makes sense, and it was awesome. Go ahead,
Can
Jessica.
we give a shout out to Adam Woods as well?
Adam Woods. Adam
What's
Woods.
happening, man? Glad you're here, man. Definitely glad you're here.
Our Fijian friend.
Voodoo Master says, can you bring down Marty Scroll to PCW?
We can't because Marty Scroll.
He's under contract?
He's under contract. I would love to. Marty Scroll. Just go over this real quick. Marty Scroll, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks. They can't come. Kenny Omega can't come.
Yeah.
All those guys can't come.
Now-
I'd love to have them. They draw.
Same thing. Marty Scurll, I saw him against Zack Sabre Jr. was good, and that dude to me is different.
Yeah.
You know, I see him. It's a different.
Well,
he
he's
brings
got a
different-
character with him
Yeah.
too, and a lot of that is lost today, and the way he does, his character and everything is.
I agree, but
He
you know,
gets it.
when you're locked up in Japan, man, I mean, and sometimes they keep you out there for maybe 3 to 6 months at the time.
And
right?
a lot of times they don't get their dates for a while too, so they're obligated to work those shows, but they don't have their dates. So some of the guys that aren't 100% under contract, like the other guys are under contract with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
But
They got a working relationship.
yeah,
with them.
Flip Gordon's under contract with Ring of Honor, but
He's coming with you.
he's also under contract with us.
Oh, okay.
So we actually had Flip Gordon under contract before Ring of Honor did.
Dude, how do you keep all that together, man?
And
You must be up till midnight. You know, I can get him, but I got to make sure I go through here. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they came to us actually, like, there was like contractual, asking about our stuff, and we gave him. We didn't want our contract to hurt him,
Right.
So we
sure.
totally made sure, we just have he does our obligations in Southern California, so we're cool, man.
Yeah.
We love doing business with people, and we love doing business with
it's good to have a working
with bigger
relationship
companies, for
with them
sure.
like that. Now, the four-way, Brody King, talked a lot about him. People know him even just not only for his wrestling abilities, but for music. I mean, that dude's really starting
And
to
Brody
get out
can
there.
wrestle lucha, and he's a big dude.
Well, see, the thing is, I always see that dude training. Anytime
Yeah.
I go to talk to Joey at Santino Brothers, he's always there.
Huh, really? Maybe there's something to that, huh?
You know, if you're going there working with different styles and working with different people, for some reason, it makes you a little bit better. But Brody King, Shane Strickland, Flip Gordon, who we just talked about, and Air Fox. Now, Air Fox I've seen a couple times on, it's not TNA anymore. It's
he's worked with, he's worked there. He's with
one of the guys
Evolve now. And
he was working with one of the guys from Noah on that show, and I was like, wow, man, those guys.
Look, I think he's as good as Ricochet. I mean, he's really
I would
good.
say he's up there, man, because
that match is going to be
insane.
Yeah, that match
because
is
when Brody's in there, they're going to be and he's just going to
if you look at that style of match, you have the high flyers in there. You have Brody, who's just a beast.
Right.
Shane is a bit of a different wrestler. Shane doesn't work that super high flying, and there is nobody as athletic as Flip Gordon.
Right.
Flip Gordon does that nip up spot where they're trying to catch him and they can't catch him, and he keeps nipping up from a standing position. So, these guys, that match is gonna be incredible.
Even when I was in my prime and in the best shape of my life, I wasn't able
to
come close to any of that. So definitely that's going to be a heck of it. It just keeps going. You see, I see him and I think the mixture, man. You even if you're, I don't want to say like a halfway fan, you say, "Go, man, I got to see what happens in that because you got such a mixture of different workers in there." Then somebody who I've been pretty high on when I saw him at Young Guns, I liked his look. I liked the way he worked as Alexander Hammerstone.
Yeah.
Now putting him up against Brian Cage when. Because we're sitting, first of all, we're sitting at the table. It's 7 o'clock at night. They come over with some Starbucks, so I end up staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning. And he asked me, and I said, when I saw Alexander Hammerstone, I said, that guy, and even the kid he wrestled, the kid with the beard at Young
Joe
Guns.
Graves. Joe Graves is I believe he's a black belt.
Yeah, that match was just hard hitting, and that I told him, I said, if you would have been there, you would have liked that match. Both of them have a good look, and the way they work together was awesome.
Yeah.
So now putting them up against, and when I said he's going to wrestle Brian Cage, he goes, dude, that's going to be a heck of a match.
The last show they wrestled, and it was just a huge pull apart. It was incredible. Hammerstone has thrown every one of his opponents for the last 3 or 4 shows over the guardrail into like the 5th row. Cage threw Hammerstone into the 5th row on the last show. So actually, that is the only match that match is a rematch. Every other match on the card in a world where everything's been done in wrestling is a first time ever on this show.
Now, because I remember Alexander Hammerstone after that match, he came down and did a quick interview with ¿Cómo se llama, Jessica? La morenita with the braids that.
Chris Bay.
Yeah,
he was our Young Guns winner.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, and he was like, you know what, that's good that you won, but you're definitely, you're coming up as a whole different ball game or whatever. So
Hammerstone he's come a long way really fast. You're going to see Hammerstone at WrestleMania. I mean, I guarantee you're going to see Hammerstone at WrestleMania before it's over. He's just somebody that's a sponge. I guide him a certain way, and he just explodes. Yeah. I mean, when I first met him, he was rough around the edges, but he was raw talent.
That's what I tell Oscar a lot. I said, I'm telling you, man, you if you are smart enough to listen and watch and see what you can get a little bit from that, and that's exactly what dudes like Brody King, Hammerstone, and them, you could tell they watch and they see, hey man, I'm gonna do this because I saw, and they're just constantly, you can see the mechanical gears spinning.
Every time I speak to a wrestler and I try to give them some sort of knowledge, whenever they go, oh well, I was doing this, I just back off. I just go, okay,
do your thing.
Okay. But when a guy sits there and gives me the respect and listens and understands that I'm doing something, in his best interest, those guys are the ones that that are sponges.
I
and
agree,
they learn
100%. I mean, and it just keeps going. Then we talked a little bit before we went on the air, and I said, well, I don't know if I don't think he's brought anybody that, you say comedy type of match, but I don't consider it comedy. I consider it a different style and bringing a different type of match. So now I've known who Kikutaro was from, when he was teaming with was it Kaju Kenbo, or what was his name, the guy with it had like a little party hat and the big glasses with them two
I can't
were together. It was amazing the way those two guys worked together. I believe he was working as Ebasan.
Yes, Ebasan, right.
And I said, well, he's coming, and that guy can put on a show. And I thought, well, who are they going to put him with? And Mariachi Loco, when he was coming up, they had a show at OCCW, and it was a battle royal, and I had surgery, so I was just watching the show. And the battle, punch and kick fest. This kid came out, and when he first came out, there was a young lady that was a wrestler, and he super kicked her, and it looked like he completely took her head off.
Yeah.
And even though, the curtain's been pulled back a little bit, or whatever, the people are like, oh my God, I think he killed her. But I said, now we got a match. Yeah. Now we got stuff going. So what personally made PCW, did you see him at another show to bring him in and to make that match?
Well, first of all, comedy wrestling, I think there's a lane for it, and I think that we deliver comedy wrestling at a very high level.
Right.
So Kikutaru is one of the best in the world, and Mariachi Loco, he's like a sleeper out here. Like, he's on a lot of shows, but he doesn't get the credit he really deserves.
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, he's really polished. Like, I saw him, he actually worked on my first Young Guns, and people were giving me crap for putting him on the show because he had been around for a while. Basically, I wasn't putting people on a show to be like, oh, you're I was using it to look at them,
right?
To see guys that to give guys a chance. And Mariachi Loco impressed me a lot.
Yeah,
he was just so polished. And after the match, I walked over to him and I go, "You're really good. You're really polished."
What I'm saying? I told Jessica the same thing. I'm a grizzled old man, but I saw that and I said, "Man, now it's a match." This kid, he just brought an excitement, and people. Yeah. It was like, I don't want to say they were falling asleep but it just bam.
Yeah.
And it just
He's
really
good.
It's as soon as his music hits too.
Well, that too.
It's
the whole package, or whatever, the gimmick, and he can work.
Yeah, he's
that
good.
Kid's a good worker.
Yeah, he's a high energy performer.
He has a really good way about training too, like his technique.
Yeah, he's actually came and trained with us a couple of times with the luchas with some different luchadores that come on Wednesday, and the same thing. Well, it's like we talk about. What you put into is what you're going to get out of it. That dude's working. He's going everywhere.
No, he's legit. He's better than most. He's definitely legit.
See, another reason why you'd want to come and check out this show. It's not like the proof is in the pudding. I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
He's intimidating, but like he is. But if you listen to him,
what is he, Alexander Hammerstone?
He is. Like, you're nervous, and then he'll be like, "No, get in." You're like, "Okay, I'm coming."
Right.
And then I'll get inside the ring. But
anything else?
Yeah, if we can give a shout out to Adam Woods, he said, "Keep up the great work," and he'll see you guys on the 19th. #PCW.
Oh,
awesome.
Woo!
Awesome.
Good
What's
man.
up, Adam?
Coming out.
Then Phoenix against ACH. ACH, I saw him in. I think he had a match in New Japan, and some of the stuff he did is just amazing. And then when you put him up with somebody like Phoenix, same thing with Oscar. He goes, dude, he's wrestling Phoenix.
Dude, that match is fire, dude. That I'm gonna be bold to say that match might steal the entire show. That match is insanely good. I know
said
it.
The same thing at the table.
Yeah.
I said, man, to put that match, especially against Phoenix,
and it's the first time ever, and everybody wants to see that match.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good one.
I've been doing this for a long time, man, and it takes a lot for me to pay to see some people work. That's why I went to Young Guns and stuff like that. Now, I know PCW is a team effort. So, what do you I'm trying to think of the mindset. Is it because you go all over and see so many people that you say, you know what, if I put this guy with this guy, that's going to be a match?
No, it's
or
yeah.
This guy's coming, put him?
It's just the way my brain works. Like I've always I started watching wrestling when I was 3, and I would book, I would have all my Marvel action figures and my DC action figures, and I would book cards and stuff, and the way my brain works, it's just I'm able to put together really clean cards, and they're all in their own lane, and they don't spill out into the other matches and everything. That's the only way I could really explain it, is everything is in its own lane. Kevin Sullivan is one of my best friends in the world, and Kevin taught me a lot about the pacing of a show, and a lot about building matches and where to put them. So Kevin has taught me a lot, but I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but Kevin has said, he said, I've never seen anybody like you. He said, you're really, really anal, but really, really creative. He said, and usually somebody's one or the other.
Yeah, cancels each other out.
Yeah, I don't have much traditional schooling. I was pretty much an outlaw early on. I used to have a motorcycle at 6, and I did a lot of stuff on my own, and I just always trusted my intuition, and I wanted to be in wrestling early on, so I just ate, slept, breathed everything about the business, and for some weird reason, I see it. Like that's I wish it was for law. I wish it was for medicine or something that would have been crazy lucrative. But for some reason, that's what I get. I get wrestling, and I'll take it.
Well, dude, I'll toot the horn for you. I mean, like I said, it takes a lot for me to put out money to go see somebody. But to see that, and for me personally, and I've been in the, I mean, believe me, I wasn't this big superstar or whatever, but I worked a lot. I worked a lot of the luchadores. Like, put this how old I am. I work Dos Caras Senior, you know, those guys, or whatever. And I've seen, like, we did a tour, and the first couple of shows, they didn't do much. And I thought, well, those guys, but that last show, before they went back home, they put on a show, and I was just like, oh, my God. I mean, it was Dos Caras Senior and Lismark against Blue Panther and Fuerza Guerrera, Juventude's dad. And they put on a show. I mean, I was just enamored of just the moves, and they mixed everything. And so then now when I see a show, and then what got me hooked is the mixture. When I said, she goes, he's bringing Bestia and Damien. I go, who are they wrestling? And Morbius, I go, I would pay to see that. Yeah, that's what I would like to see. You know what I mean? That for me, anyways. That's just what it was. Just to make sure nobody wants to see the same match over and over. I mean, sometimes you build.
It's
to the
hard
end of the
to
world,
book. It's hard to book like the rematch with Cage and Hammer. I mean, we did that. Everybody involved did that perfectly. You know what I mean? But it's really difficult in a time and an era of supercards and first time ever matches and supercards. It's always got to be better than the next. It's really difficult to book that way, you know. And with no television, the psychology kind of has to be on the matches, because it's really difficult to tell stories when you're doing something every 2 months and you don't have TV to back it. We don't do live commentary. We don't do anything like that. So you have to really be a super fan and follow everything we do. So it has to translate to our super fans, and it has to translate to somebody who's a first time customer, you know. So
and
it's a balance that you have to keep and be aware of. A lot of people think, I'll talk ideas with people sometimes, or people like to come and pick my brain about booking or something like that. And a lot of people don't understand the difference between booking for television and booking for house shows. And it's a very simple thing that I see right off the bat. I have experience, obviously, but it's a thing that a lot of people don't understand the difference between, and how you progress stories, and how you do it with with different tools to tell the stories, and you do it differently with each different tool. So it's difficult. It comes with experience.
And it makes sense. I hate to sound like an old man, or whatever. But I tell them too, because especially with Oscar, he's kind of gave me a renewed vigor, because he's trying to get into the business, and I'm trying to. Well, it doesn't work like that. And I said, look at this tape, and it was Superstar Billy Graham's tape. And I said, Superstar Billy Graham and Dusty Rhodes were selling out Madison Square Garden with no TV, no internet, just from word of mouth. People were, I mean, that's a
different era.
Oh, well, exactly. And the curtain wasn't as pulled back as it was before. But still, it just goes back to that. Dusty Rhodes had something where people wanted to come back, and he didn't look like much, but he just had it.
It was the era of Muhammad Ali, and he talked people into the building, and he was a brilliant interview.
And then the original Sheik was just straight crazy.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean, legit crazy. So,
can we give a shout out to part owner of Bully Zone, Gio Mendez?
Oh, Gio Mendez, what's up, man?
Hey, Gio?
I'm glad you actually tuned in to check it out, because they talk about dropping knowledge or whatever, dropping some serious knowledge. But anyways, I got to get to some of the questions, because we're running up against the clock. But real quick, before we continue, don't forget PCW. You got to check it out. It's the anniversary A2K18. It's Friday, January 19th. It's at the ILWU Memorial Hall. It's at 231 West C Street in Wilmington, California. Make sure you come check it out. You can check out PCWUltra.com. And, of course, we talked about it at the beginning. Great Muda seminar. If you're an up-and-coming, if you've been working for a while, the experience is, like we said.
If you're not as good as Great Muda, come and learn.
So
that's pretty much everybody.
So definitely come and check that. I mean, just for him to be here alone, you know, it says a lot. I mean, because it takes a lot to get him out here.
And those tickets are going fast. Like those tickets are going to be for rows 1 is already sold out. Row 2 is about to sell out. Row 3 and 4, there's very few tickets left. General admission's moving super fast, so get your tickets.
Big time.
Yeah.
And don't forget about the seminar. Definitely
Don't forget
wanna
about
check
the
that
seminar.
out.
That's the diamond right there.
Now, we talked a little bit about, before we went on the show, about, you know, PCW and all the questions that I got and all the ones that I had. Some of them were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but you're going to get that when you, and it says, I mean, if you weren't happening and nothing was going on, you wouldn't get none of that.
Yeah.
But since it's at the level that it's at now, that's why you get a lot of that stuff. You know, when Mask was building Tap Out and he was bringing it up, and he had Sergio and I, he would tell me, you know what? If I don't have a little haterism, I'm not doing something right.
Yeah.
That's what
Somebody's
drives
not
you.
talking about me or whatever.
You know?
So yeah,
It better.
Yeah.
Look at,
Or to break
look
you.
at what he did for Tap Out. Now,
That's right.
the first question I got, of course, of all, tons of them, was, I want to get booked on a PCW show. What do I have to do to get booked on? We talked a little bit about that before, but, you know, kind of divulge on
I mean,
that.
the first thing we do is we book a lot of talent outside of the region, and we do that to put a huge spotlight on us. We book guys that draw. You know, there's certain guys that are in the region, like a Rob Van Dam or a Johnny Mundo, or you know, we bring Penta in from Mexico. You know, we do a lot of that. We do have a local base of guys that we use, and we've got all those guys from our seminars.
Right.
So it's not fair for somebody to come to a seminar and be the best of that seminar and us not use those people and use somebody else outside of that, when these people are in our company and supporting our company monetarily, moving chairs, helping out.
Right.
So show up to the building and help out. And believe me, I know the difference of somebody coming out, not doing any work just to get a free ticket, and somebody actually busting their butt.
Remember we were talking about that before?
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, honestly,
Keeping it real.
I want things cleared before. I mean, don't just show up and expect to get in. I mean, we have a lot of help. We have a huge staff. This started out with 2 people, and it's turned into a monster. I mean, we have a big staff, and so we do have a ring crew. We do have a chair, you know, people that set up the chairs and the locker room and everything. If you'd like to get on that crew, DM me on Facebook, Twitter, anything, PCW Ultra, hit me up, and we'll discuss that.
But you're gonna come and work. You're not gonna come watch.
Yeah,
the
you're
show.
coming to work. I mean,
Right.
and I'm very old school. I am just a guy that does not give you anything. I had to break my butt to get into professional wrestling. I had to pay my dues for a very long time. I got beat into the business. I got broke in the old school way, and that's the only way I know. So I'm going to break anybody into my company the old school way, and if that's not something that you're wanting to, you're not accustomed to, or something that you're not into, that's fine. That's okay. Just don't waste my time, and I won't waste yours. So if you come in and you're willing to help, most importantly, do the seminars. The seminars help pay these big name guys. You know, to bring the great Muda to Southern California, travel alone.
Right.
It will break most companies, and we don't do that because we're gonna go out to dinner with the great Muda. We do that because we're building a company and we're placing a spotlight on this area. So that costs a lot of money. So support that. You know, come out and pitch in and do that seminar. And we're not asking you to just to pay for Muda. We're asking you to support it and learn from him. We're providing
we're not
that
bringing
for
him
you.
just to come and do a show and leave. Because believe me, I went to many a show where there's been a star who's mailed it in and took off.
Yeah,
right
we're
away.
not- yeah.
He's coming in, gonna do a seminar, gonna do the show. Now, somebody like
He
him,
wanted to do it the next day just so he had the time to prepare and
Right.
have the length and didn't get rushed.
Right.
So, I mean, Muda doesn't do seminars. I mean, this is unheard of. I mean, I can't stress enough how unique this is.
Right.
You know, it's insane.
well, but for somebody like that, was he hip to PCW, or did you contact him and say, hey, look, you know, this is what we got going on. We'd like you to come down. How was he?
No, he wasn't hip to the company. I had contacted him. there's a history there.
Right.
So yeah, I've got a.
So did you actually see him when you were in Japan? When you went?
No, I actually knew Muda in the States.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So I have a history with him. I have a history with a long history with Japan, and my contact book is it's pretty legit.
Well, especially once you're on the map like you are now, it's just like the booker for EBI, Eddie Bravo Invitational. When they first got started, he had to go out and try to find some guys to fight and stuff like that.
Now they're coming
it's
all
so
over.
huge. He goes, I don't even have to go. I just get calls every day, or I get an email, or whatever. So once it
you have
gets
to
to
be
a certain
consistent.
point,
Yeah,
exactly.
if you consistently deliver with anything, if you're making ice creams, if you have the best ice cream,
That's the nature of business.
Yeah, if you're consistent and you constantly deliver, and at PCW, we don't just deliver a great show. We deliver a fan experience.
Right.
Our fans walk away happy, and if our fans have a problem, they know they can come to us. They know that we'll solve their problem.
Well, this is real quick, Jessica, and you can attest. Anybody before I go into this next one?
It's just that a lot of wrestlers are asking, Joseph, how can I get booked? You know, I want to come on. And
See, I
you
told you
said
constantly.
to DM you, but I guess what's the professional way to go about DMing you? Do you want them to get a hold of you on Instagram or on Facebook?
Facebook is
that?
fine. I've every social media outlet that I have gets hit. I mean, so
Doesn't matter.
yeah. I mean, it's and again, join the seminars.
But
That's what I'm going to tell you anyway.
But this is what I'm gonna tell you for those guys out there that want to get booked and are trying. And this is the thing that got me also. PCW, as big as it is, I went to It's a Grind in Long Beach. We went to go have coffee. I go there a lot because it's by the workout gym that I go to. They have those bulletin boards where you could put cards. There was 3 or 4 PCW cards up there. And I told the girl, I said, hey, man, who came in and put these cards? She said, well, they came in and said, hey, we have a big show coming up. Can we leave a few cards or whatever? So the work never stops.
Grinding, man.
Yeah, so it
Grinding.
doesn't matter. Even just there, they had the PCW cards.
The big thing is a lot of people that run shows are super lazy. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just saying, like, dude, if you're going to be a promoter, it's a thankless job that never ends. I mean, it's 24/7. So we do television commercials. We've got to build that commercial. We've got to pay for that commercial. We got to voice over that commercial. Right. We got to negotiate that commercial. We got to pick all of our regions for a commercial. It's a big process just for a commercial. Radio, the same thing. But we don't stop there. We do the internet. We do the internet like crazy. We do foot patrol like crazy. We know where all the big events are happening, and we hit them. We have a street team. We have headed up by somebody that we trust. We have the proper materials. You know, we're always stocked up.
Just like how that picture caught Dondo's eye.
Yeah, you have to hit that. You know, you have to pre-plan all this stuff. You have to build the thing before. You have to get it built. You got to get it bought on time. All these things there's so many times you can just go, I'll do that later, and it all falls like dominoes.
Or people think, well, if I just put the card on Facebook, it'll get out there, and that's it.
Dude, Facebook is the laziest. I mean, we do Facebook with everything else.
Sure.
Because we look, when I go to sleep at night, at the day after the show, if the show doesn't draw, which we've been so blessed and so lucky that every single show of ours has drawn more than the last show, which is amazing. But if we did a show, and it'll happen, what goes up goes down, and sometimes something happens, whatever, I'll know every time that I did everything I could have done possibly to draw that show. And if it doesn't draw, I'm not going to go to bed like, I'll be upset that it didn't draw, but I'm not going to be upset at myself. I'm not going to beat myself up over it, because I know at the end of the day I had, and my team had done everything that they could possibly do. It's like if somebody was on the table and the doctors do everything they can do. If the guy dies, he dies, man. But you knew that you did everything you can possibly do. And I'm not trying to compare the two of us using the analogy.
It makes sense. It makes it. Jessica, real quick, can you please get Joseph one more bottle of water, please? I don't want him to be parched. But makes a lot of sense, and we talk about that constantly, even with our show, even with Gym Crashers. You know, we went to go shoot an episode of Gym Crashers at the Affliction Gym.
Yep.
We got there at 6 o'clock, something
Half
like
hour
that.
before, hour
we
before.
We were there till midnight.
Yeah.
Because we shot the jiu-jitsu class, and then some fighters came in, so we did an interview with them.
It's hard work.
Then we shot the Lucky Geek commercial, and then you know, you're there for, and we all work
Use
around your
it.
job, you know, so it's like, if you really want it, how late you going to stay? You know what I mean? What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So
the truth.
It all, what's it called? Mixes. It all coincides.
Right. It'll gel.
Yeah, for sure. So
Thank you.
that, now, you put something out about women's wrestling, about who you thought was the best one or whatever, just to get a feel for it. Now, Tessa Blanchard, you advertised her. Is she actually going to wrestle? She's just in the future?
Yeah, I actually, Tessa's going to wrestle. I have a lot of surprises coming up with women's wrestling. Women's wrestling was just a lane that we didn't have on our show, and there was a reason for it. Like,
I got two people, two workers who I have got an overwhelming response, and they don't go, well, why didn't they put this person? Because this person's worked with. They go, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Why didn't he put this person or that person? Because everybody Monday morning quarterback.
Sure.
The two I got the most on was Candice LeRae and Taya Valkyrie.
Okay, well, Candice LeRae just got signed by the WWE. That's the rumor mill. I don't know for certain, so that's off the table.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she's doing bar wrestling, and that's her last independent date. Taya is a no-brainer. She's at all of our shows. She's a friend of the company.
Right.
So you'll.
Again, a smart girl. She, we went to the signing at the Wrestling Guy store, and she was there, and we were talking, and she said, hey, I'd love to come on your show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely. She came on twice.
The thing about Taya and the thing about PCW and the women's, you're going to see the best female wrestling. That's what we do. If we're going to open up a lane, you're going to see the best of the best. So expect the best of the best, expect the best women's wrestling in the world, and let your brain,
Does that open up another another door or window in your business? Because now you might have to go start taking a look at some different.
Well, it opens up another door. It opens up a door for women. It closes some doors for men.
Right.
But in today's landscape, women's wrestling is really popular. The athletes today are incredible, and some of the ones that I've already secured 4 women wrestlers that are. Again, the best in the world.
Is it different, though? Because I don't see as many, for lack of a better term, gimmicks or whatever. I just see straight wrestlers. You know what I mean?
With the there's you got the ODBs of the world, and then you have the Taya Valkyries who has a gimmick,
which again is smart because she, being Canadian, went to Mexico, lived out there, and learned. And she's I've seen her a couple of times, not just because she came on showing up, but she can go, man.
No, she's really good. No, she's really good. Tessa, I wanted to announce early because. She's just she's a blue chipper, and not to say that she's better than any of the other women, but she was just a good name to announce, just to let everybody know, just kind of that they're coming. I'm not having them on this show. We announced that, and I was very.
So it's something you can look forward to.
And that was the thing is everybody was women's wrestling. Look, you can't do everything the first year. You can't do everything.
You can't put all your eggs in one
basket. I have a way about we brought in a huge lighting grid on the last show. We could have done that. We could have done that the first show. We brought in Rob Van Dam at the end of our first season. We could have did that on our first show. We didn't do it because nobody was watching yet. So and you want levels. You don't want the thing to just this is everything we do, and then okay, what's next? There always has to be something for a fan to look forward to. It has to be fun for a fan to be a fan of your company. And if you don't make it fun and you don't give them something to look forward to and you don't switch gears and you don't go right when they think you're going to go left, then you really don't have anything. And that's the art of booking.
You start losing people.
I just want to close on that part with it'd be one thing if I didn't have results. I'm really tired of people telling me, this or that or blah, blah. Well, okay. If you've never run a show, how are you going to tell me that I'm doing it wrong when I'm drawing more than anybody's drawing? I'm not trying to be a dick.
That's huge.
But it's it's really insulting sometimes when you're just like, okay, please tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Monday, quarterback me
and
let me know. But it's like you say, it's true. And Dando can attest to this. A lot of people, they just see the finished product. It's the same with us when we were working for Long Beach Finance. They don't see when you have to go get the
hours
talent.
of hard work.
You have to book them. They have to make weight. It's the contracts, everything. It's a whole thing.
You're absolutely right. And it's a lot of times I try not to get angry about it because it's people's delivery online. If I found that if you discuss it with them or hear them, then they kind of back down. Not that they back down, because you don't want to tell anybody they're backing down, then they go up. Not that they back down. You just let people know that you're hearing them. Their voice is being heard, and you know, you validate their feeling or their opinion and all that, and I do. But when people get nasty about it, and it's like, then you're like, well, come on, man. Like,
Get real.
So it's like, it's not like it's
the clutch, man.
Yeah, it's not like we're losing here. You know, it's like we're doing something pretty great, and we're doing something that people are really digging, and you know, you know.
And there's a level of professionalism. We talk about this a lot because I work for King of the Cage. I do announcing for them, and Terry Trebilcock, who's the owner, he says, you know, we already have this reputation that we're just a bunch of animals sitting in a cage, so I need you guys in a suit and tie.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a specific one, a big one like they do at the Citizens Bank,
It's
I'm going to
huge.
need you in a tuxedo. You know, I'm going to need this, and you have to have some sort of professionalism, and it bleeds over into wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, you know, when I don't know if you went through this too, but when I went to go negotiate venues, as soon as you say pro wrestling, they oh no, we don't want that.
Yep.
It's just got that reputation.
Yep.
But
And it's because of unprofessional groups.
Exactly. Once, like the Torrance Elks Lodge, when I did a show there, once I did the show, which is a lot of hard work, like you say, and just maintaining the professionalism, once they saw that the guys did come and work and they didn't make a big mess, they said, okay, if you want to come back and do it,
Yep.
we're there.
And you have to police your locker room. Like
Right.
you have to, if somebody's
You
not
can't-
acting accordingly.
You can't let the inmates run the asylum.
and if
but
somebody's-
you want to hear a little bit of their
Yeah,
input.
yeah.
So it takes somebody like you
Well,
to keep it in line.
If somebody's not being professional in the back, nobody's really above that. Like, so
Right.
the only one who's not replaceable is me.
Right.
Like, everybody else is replaceable, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that everybody has to hold themselves to a high professional standard, because we want to keep our building. We want to have our fans. We don't want to piss off moms. We don't want to get a dad mad at us because somebody said something to his kid. You just hold yourself up to a higher standard, and good things will happen, and you'll be known as a professional.
Right.
And that's what, everybody wants to be that. Nobody doesn't want to be looked at and respected, you know.
Right.
So I mean, you just got to act accordingly. And I think Southern California has a really great scene and a lot of really great wrestlers.
Well, like Dondo and I were talking before too, just being in California, just to be able to draw like you do,
Yeah.
because there's so much to do in Southern
Yeah.
California.
And there's a lot of wrestling shows, just that alone,
and there's
not to
football,
mention all the
there's baseball,
entertainment,
There's
yeah.
basketball. There's so much stuff going
Yeah.
on. It's the same in MMA.
Yeah.
There could be 3 shows
At least.
running in California all at the same.
Yeah, our
day.
last show,
boxing
there was like
show.
3 or 4 shows on that same night, and
Right.
it was, we all could have done a little better if we spaced
so
it
you
out.
have to put in the work. I agree 100%. But real quick for the people listeners, you're here. You're at Full Contact Fanatics. Don't forget, you can check us out every Monday from 8 o'clock till we're going to go about till about 9:15, if that's cool with you.
Cool with me.
So I got a couple more things I want to go over. Don't forget, you can check out PCW. Big show coming up. You can go to PCWUltra.com. Get all your information over there. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Now,
So
anything
you
else?
have
Go ahead.
your Wilmington show. That one's that's not Refuse to Lose.
That was the last show.
Okay, this one is Ultra, right? PCW.
This one is
Anniversary?
we rebranded our name PCW Ultra. All of our social media matches and all that, and so this is called Anniversary 2018. It's our 2nd year anniversary.
Huge.
And then the question is Young Guns coming back to Iguana Kelly's?
Young Guns might come back to Iguana Kelly's. We were thinking about doing at least 2 to 4 of them this year. But I don't know. Like these shows are so big right
I
now.
tell you, I enjoyed myself. I had a good time, man.
Yeah,
It
it's just
had
I
a
can't
little
clone
bit of
myself.
everything. Yeah.
So it's just so much extra work for me, and these shows are. It's like I've been planning a wedding since 2016, like every single day.
Yeah.
So like I want to go on vacation. Like I would, like me and my wife would go on vacation after the shows, and like it just
You're
in the
thinking about
last
it the whole
well the
time?
last 2 shows I haven't been able to do it, and
But
now.
I mean, are you on vacation going, well, damn, when I get back? I
Oh
gotta make
no,
these calls,
I've
gotta-
been pretty good about
Oh, yeah?
just unplugging, yeah. Because if
Now,
you don't, you'll explode.
Real quick, before we get into the next question, I've been pro wrestling and then got into jiu-jitsu and then started working for Long Beach Fight Night, King of the Cage. My wife completely hates it. Hates wrestling, hates boxing, jiu-jitsu. We've been married for 25 years.
Yep.
Now, you does that kind of play into it? Is she into it and can understand
My
what
wife-
it takes, or does she say, leave that stuff over there? When you get here, you're here.
Yes and no. Like it's kind of my wife is not a fan of professional wrestling. She respects me and what I do.
Right.
She helps me run my shows. And you know, she hears everything. She knows more about the business than most people do.
That's what.
Yeah,
incredible.
Like she's super smart to the business, and she's a great sounding board. She's not a fan by any means, which is really awesome because I get a very unique perspective from her.
Break from it when you're
When we're not now. We're big music fans, and we're into the band called Clutch that we love, and we're and stuff like that. So we base like vacations around concerts, and we like to go to Europe and cool places and stuff like that. But wrestling is definitely not her thing.
Yeah, it's like I was telling you before. You know, Jessica has to drive with me, and she hears it all day. Jessica, this is why they're successful. This is why you can't do it. So, you know, when she gets home, she goes in the room, shuts her door.
If Young Guns does come back to Iguana Kelly's, let me know how to get underneath the canopy. I'll pay extra to sit underneath there.
Okay. For sure.
And shout out to you, too, because I was able to do my meet and greet with Adrian Quest, and then Bobby was able to meet B-Boy.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Well, I had known B-Boy from back. He was a kid. Back then, and I hadn't seen him in years. So we talked for almost a half hour.
That's cool, man.
But not to be, you know, putting you over or whatever, just because you're here.
Please stop some more.
I had, you know, Jessica, please tell him what it takes to get me out of the house.
I know. As soon as Young Guns was announced, I told Bobby, we're going. This is before you had your card out. It was like the mystery card.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going.
And I'm like, I got to work the day before.
Are you coming to the next show?
This one, I unfortunately, I have. I believe me.
Yeah. Well, next time it's on me. Please, you be my guest.
And we will make sure we talk about it on this show. But just that Young Guns, I didn't. You know, I'm an old man. You know, but when we went, the only bad part about it was the Uber drive because it was a 2-seater or 2-door or whatever, and I squeezed in there. But from the tacos to the merchandise to the show, I mean, it was just really a good time. I bought stuff. There was stuff I was looking for that just happened to be there. Although I couldn't find any. Almighty Chic shirts, but that's cool. We can talk about that later. But it was a good time. I really had a good time. So I definitely recommend it. Let me get you a couple more questions before we get out of here.
If you want a lightning round, me, we'll.
I just want to make sure.
Fire them off.
What I got a lot of, and I got to tell you, is ask Joseph if PCW will ever think about doing a tour or some sort of change of venue to get closer to where other people are. I don't know. You know, San Diego is what, 2-hour drive or whatever. I don't know if a lot of people make that drive, but
it's a lot easier for one or two people to come to us
than it
is for us to move an entire show. I sympathize with you, but for right now,
in the future, if it got that big,
I mean, I feel like it's gonna get that big. I feel like if we're expanding so much that we're gonna tour, it'll come to us. It'll be the right time.
Makes sense.
Right now, we've got a home base and we've just settled in. We've only been there a year. That we still are moving furniture around and getting it situated. So let us sit there for a bit. Let us grow. Support us so we can do that. And we'd love to add another town. We'd love to do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That would save us money as far as fly-ins and things like that. That would be great. Unfortunately, if we had to cultivate another town right now, it would hurt the show.
You gotta crawl.
I mean, it takes a long time to properly cultivate a town. And I know people think it's just easy, just run a show and people come. That's not what happens. You run a show and nobody comes.
Sure.
So it's really, really difficult. You have to put out a roster that you can grow with, so they have to be at a certain price range. They have to be super solid so that the fans still want to see it, and then you kind of keep going up and up and up and up and up, and you keep adding to it and you keep fine-tuning it.
It just keeps growing,
but it takes a while. It
makes sense when you say it's easier for 2 or 3 people to come for a 2-hour
Super
drive
easy,
than person to take a whole crew out there
and
not know if we're going to be able to do what we can here.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a lot of people, a lot of
and
time,
a
lot of setup, a lot
crew.
of equipment.
Oh, you said it when
it's a lot.
Planning a wedding every day of your life, man.
And to do it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
unbelievable.
Woo!
Yeah.
You're asking a lot.
Yeah.
And you're catching attention to people that aren't necessarily fans. I have to admit that, man. I'm seeing all your stuff. It blows me away.
Thank you.
Really.
Well, real quick,
Go
we have so far We're 2 weeks out, but we have people representing 11 separate states that are flying in for this show.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So you have to book all that. You got to book the hotel.
No. I'm talking about fans. No, we've got tons of people flying in for us. Yeah, I got to book on. We have 11 different states
see, now that's
represented.
Saying
yeah.
That's saying something for people to
the other day we announced, oh, wow, we have tickets from all these fans. And then somebody's like, Chicago, too, I'm buying them right now. We're
right
like,
on.
what?
Yeah,
it's pretty nuts.
Huge.
Yeah, and I would venture to guess that before long we're going to get the Japanese fans that are I know Masahori's a huge super fan. He comes to the States for WrestleMania weekend and other stuff, and he's a friend of mine. So I'm sure before long we're going to start getting We've had international fans from Australia come to our show.
Amazing.
Which is kind of smart what they did in CMLL. They have a package deal where you can buy a package deal where they'll pick you up at the airport, take you to the hotel. The next day, you can go do your sightseeing or whatever.
Yeah, we'll have to develop that.
They'll pick you up, take you to the venue, you go watch the show, and then they take you back to the hotel. Because, Mexico has a reputation for...
chopping people's heads off and stuff.
Right.
Making them disappear.
But, for them to come and pick you up, and then they take you... And I guess they have a bus, and I think one of the luchadores is actually on the bus and talks a lot about it on the way up there. It is packed.
Yeah.
And now you see... Japanese families, you see different. I mean, it's amazing when I watch it. I said, man, they're smart. They went out of the box and thought, well, if we do this will bring more people.
Well, so it seems like we're on the brink of being able to do that.
Well, especially if you got all those people coming. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that was one of the questions. Another question was, you personally, with some of the talent that you've helped grow, who do you think might be? Well, we talked about Alexander Hammerstone, might be next to get into WWE or NXT.
Well, definitely Hammerstone. Fatu is just absolutely special. Douglas James, I think Douglas James would do really well at Next, and Brody King, too. I mean, Brody King would do fantastic. He's got a unique look. He does things that guys his size. I always, like to kind of stress to him, when to do these things and not to do so much, because the brain doesn't understand that in 20 years all those bumps are coming back. I'm 20 years in. You understand it. Every single one of those falls, it's almost like I can play them back in my head and I feel it. When it rains, I've currently am dealing with a bicep injury that I just can't. I can't shake it. It just won't go. My wrist is bad. I've had a knee surgery. I've had an ankle surgery. I completely ripped up my ankle when I was on a tour.
When I wrestled all the time, no problem. Of course you're going to get the minor
injuries. Well, at first when
I turned 40, hernia surgery.
Yep.
3 trigger fingers, carpal tunnel. Then I had the hip replaced. I mean,
that's when it's knocking.
It's knocking
on your door, going, "Hey, remember me?"
Yeah.
That's guys don't understand that, and it's just youth. You're
real quick before we get into another question. Speaking of Fatu, I was wrestling for a dude named B.J. Darden who found this guy that had a lot of money, wanted to do a show in Visalia. And you know how it is. They said, well, we're going to send you out there or whatever. I said, well, let me see half up front and we'll go. So we went. Had a guy that wrestled as Bronx Bomber. We went up to Visalia. He says, you're going to wrestle Rikishi in the Sultan gimmick. And I'm like, well, all right, cool. So they had Greg Valentine, they had Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
WWE, back then, they used to let their guys work indie shows.
Yeah. So we get there. And Rikishi couldn't make it. So he said, he sent Eddie Fatu, who was Umaga, and he let him use his stuff, I was 265 back then. And, I've never been in great shape, but halfway decent shape only because I was younger. So he says, well, let's do this and do that. And I said, okay. And I'm going over, okay? And so it's like, and he's like, well, we'll do this and do that or whatever. It's okay, no problem. So we...
It's that famous phone call we get every...
Yeah. We get out there. Right, and I'm usually the one who dictates. Dude, I mean, you want to talk about strength? I don't want to say I was scared, but I mean, I could not believe the strength on this guy. And then he said, "Okay, let's go outside." We went outside. Waste some time. Okay, so he picks me up. Didn't slam me hard on the outside, but I'm looking for him because I'm thinking, where's he going? He's pulling out a table. So he pulls out the table, he grabs me by my throat. And one hand under my underarm, lifts me up and holds me with one,
Yeah.
with one hand, and boom, right through the table. It wasn't hurt, but I was in shock that this man could pick me up with one hand. So he said, let's get out. So at the end, he goes, I'll put you in the clutch. I'm going to, disqualify. I don't want to pull the curtain back too much. I said, okay. So I'm waiting for it. He picks me up and he slams me. I'm waiting for the clutch. I look up, and he's on the third rope. Now, for the people who've never wrestled before or whatever, taking a splash from one of the Fatu brothers or whatever, dude, I even came up to try to catch him, and I mean, it was just, you could feel the whole
that's
back up. So speaking about how the Cowboys were like that, that's how I was.
I'm happy that Fatu's on my side.
Dude, those guys' strength is amazing.
Yeah.
And I was in the back going, holy, what happened? And he goes, hey, man, like what?
Yeah. And Fatu is like, I mean, if you could compare Fatu to any Samoan of all time, it would be Umaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like...
It was, the drive home from Visalia felt like a half hour because I was talking to, I can't believe this guy's strength or whatever. But for him, when I saw, even when the guy went to give him a stunner and he landed in a handstand and came back up, I thought the agility is amazing.
That's what Fatu does.
Yeah.
He does that stunner. Yeah.
I saw that. It was amazing. So I would agree. I think it's only a matter of time, especially with the lineage. And
for sure. Yeah.
So Alexander Hammerstone got Brody King too. He stuck out immediately when I saw him out there. So real quick, one last question before we get out of here. They want to know who you think is the most underrated worker in WWE right now, because what they were trying to get at was like guys like Nakamura come over. It seems like they kind of get lost in the shuffle once they get out here. Me personally, I've never been to WWE house shows. I went years ago when it was Roddy Piper and Cowboy Bob Orton against Tonga Kid and Jimmy Snuka, and it was almost a riot there. So that's how.
Yeah.
And then when Jessica started getting into it, we started going to some house shows. I saw Luke Harper work against Dolph Ziggler at a house show, and Luke Harper can go, man. I think that guy's really underrated.
Yeah. I don't know off the bat. I don't really watch the product that much, but I mean I could underutilized guys.
We can go on for days.
I mean, two that just jump out at me would be Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro.
Yeah.
I think Cesaro should have a, but I haven't seen it in a really long time. I remember. I haven't had cable TV. I just do like Hulu. I know Raw's on Hulu, but I don't watch it anymore. I unplugged from everything, and I don't really have that much time to watch any more wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
So but yeah.
I'm the exact opposite because we have Gym Crashers, we have the Full Contact Fanatics, so I pay almost $200 a month.
You have to watch everything
because I watch all the fights, and then Access has New Japan, and then I have Time Warner Cable Deportes on my dish to see the luchas from Mexico, so it's just constant or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, I forgot to say if you can attend the show. Fight TV, we're doing our first iPay-per-view.
I have Fight TV also.
Yeah. So we're doing our first iPay-per-view at Fight TV. So,
so it's moving. It's moving and shaking, man.
And we're going to be doing well, I'll keep that. I'll save that for my back pocket.
Yeah, keep them in suspense. Well, I got to tell you, I mean, we do so many shows, and we get, we've had Jiva Santana. He did, and of course the Giovanni Varela. People actually wanted to see after Marvin came on. They wanted to see Giovanni or whatever. But when I had put out there that Joseph was coming back, it was just amazing, how much it's grown since then, because it was just overwhelming. The people, the product speaks for itself, and the people speak for it because they have so many questions, good and bad, what you're going to get. And, and like you said, if it's not, you're not doing something right. Because what's another word for that's not as hard as jealousy? You know what I mean?
I guess envy.
They're like, man, I want to be. That's what I tell Jessica. You see somebody that looks good and he's in the ring and they want to be him. That's why they don't like him. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
But I mean, there's a path to everything that you want in life. You just have to take that path, and sometimes
for free.
Sometimes taking that path includes humbling yourself. And working hard. I mean. I do me.
You see him? Please tell Oscar that's what I've been talking about. One more thing before we go.
No, just a lot of people are saying just shout out to Joseph. Putting on great shows. Thank you for everything.
It's the truth, dude. It's the truth.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
So real quick before we get out of here, don't forget, if you want to check it out, it's the PCW Ultra Anniversary A2K18 show. It's Friday, January 19th at the ILW Memorial Hall, which is at 231 West C Street in Wilmington. Don't forget, you can check out PCWUltra.com to get all the information. Don't forget the Great Muda Seminar. I don't want to say once in a lifetime, because I don't know if he might decide to come back someday because he likes it so much.
I'm pretty much saying that
It would be.
this is, without going totally on record, this is going to be the last time the Great Muda's in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, wrestling. So, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find him coming back.
I would tend to agree with you on that, because especially, like, even me, I'm an old man, and it's just to get me out of the house, you know, for him to come from Japan out to the United States to do something like that, it says a lot.
He is actively running Wrestle One in Japan, and he's going to be seeing everybody that's here. So, you know,
before you fully retire, and let's say, you know, that I can't do it anymore, I got so much going on, or I'm hurt or whatever, the one person you would want to wrestle before you completely take the boots off.
Oh, wow.
I could tell you right now, mine is Minoru Suzuki. For some reason, I would love to get one last match with that guy.
I would bring him to the States in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys I would totally bring to the States. Geez, I don't know.
Could come up with somebody.
I mean, most of my heroes are dead, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Bruiser Brody.
Oh, dude.
You know, I tried to talk Stan Hansen into giving me a clothesline. He wasn't gonna work. But I would have worked with Stan. I mean, I got to work with Terry Funk. I've worked with Dusty. I've worked a lot of people.
I've read everybody's book, and I've watched all the documentaries and stuff like that. And every book I read, everybody says far and away that Ric Flair was the greatest of all time. I think it was Gary. What's his name that used to do the Sportatorium? Gary Hart.
Gary Hart. Yeah.
He said that's when the NWA was actually, you know, a real faction.
Yeah.
He said we would have him for 1 or 2 dates, and we would have to move to the football stadium because it would hold so many people, and he would only ask for 20% of the gate. He goes, I would gladly pay it. Gladly. And when he was gone,
wait a minute, he wouldn't ask for only 20%. He would ask for 20% of the gate, but he would gladly pay it.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
Well, sure. Yeah. And then he said the day he would leave, I would be on the phone with the NWA. When can he come back?
Yeah.
And Jerry Lawler, I read his book, and he said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
The day he leaves, I'm on the phone to get. Now, when people talk about you like that, now you're talking.
Yeah, I would love to wrestle Flair. That would be awesome. It would. I would think it would be a night off. I mean, he's incredible.
Oh yeah.
But I wouldn't. I think the greatest of all time is it's a subjective term.
Yeah.
You know, it really depends on who. You know who. I mean, Dynamite Kid could be considered the greatest of all time. I look at somebody who's the scariest, most biggest badass in the world, and
that's
Bruiser Brody.
Yeah.
But Brody could do anything. Brody could wrestle. Brody could brawl. Brody had the look. Brody had the promo.
Yeah.
Brody had the size. I mean,
a quick story, and I'll leave you alone. I'm working for Kiss and Charisma in Mexico, and literally in a rodeo, like, you know, bull thing or whatever, and I see this guy doing squats, Hindu squats, getting ready to go out there. And this kid is put together. I'm going, holy, who is that? And I tell Kiss, I said, hey, who's that guy right there? And he goes, oh, that's Pegasus Kid. And I said, I'm not wrestling that dude. And he goes, no, he's going to wrestle the guy. And then I saw him work, and I was like, wow, that dude is good.
Intense.
Yeah. Went in, wrestled, took his mask off, put a towel on, got in the car, and was gone. I didn't even get a chance to talk to him.
I mean, I agree with him being considered one of the greatest, but Eddie Guerrero was. Oh. Eddie Guerrero just was.
We can go on for days.
But Eddie Guerrero had. I mean, the promo is so important, and Eddie Guerrero, Benoit didn't have the promo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Guerrero had that promo and everything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't have the size, but Eddie grew in the ring. Like he. Yeah, he was one of the greatest of all time, without a doubt.
That's amazing. Well, we can go on for hours, man, believe me. But anyways, for the people listening to us, don't forget, check out the PCW show. Check out PCWUltra.com. Any last words before we let you get out of here?
I'll just thank you to all the fans that are supporting us. I mean, we sincerely, honestly appreciate it, and we certainly don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
We are very, very appreciative that we've had such a wonderful reception, and just continue to follow what we're doing, and we plan and promise to continue to deliver the best possible wrestling that we can accomplish every single time we go out there for you fans.
I agree. And it's not easy. You know, you got to put work into it. And for the guy who said, why am I always on Joseph's nuts or whatever, that's why. I mean, it's not that. It's just that because they're like, well, dude, why are you all, you know,
I've never felt that before.
Well,
like,
no,
I've always felt a mutual respect.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, when I see the product, it's, you know, I actually enjoy it. I went to a show. The proof is there. It's not like I just decided.
Yeah, like I'm a fan of it, and that's why I know it's right. It's like I watch it, and like, and
it's not like I didn't go to it and check it out. And I've seen, for lack of a better term, behind the scenes. You know, I went to
the growth.
Yeah, I went to the dojo shows over there at Santino Brothers and seen how, you know, hey, I'm you know, with Douglas James, we brought him, take a look at him, you know, and just seeing what it takes to put into it, you know. So I personally, because we do that here, people have no idea. We're all the time. These guys are going to Fit Expos to get, you know, to talk to this guy, to bring him over and stuff. So it's kind of the same. You got to go out there and do the work. So I personally appreciate somebody who puts the work in to put out a good product. That's about the way we can sum it up, right?
It's really funny when guys ask me, like, why won't you book me, who run shows?
Right.
Not that I want to work for anyone, because I've got plenty of work, but it's always funny when somebody's like, why don't you book? I'm like, why don't you book me?
Yeah.
Like, what is it's, I don't know, man. Let's just all be friends.
Yeah, we'll just all get along, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, again, a million thank yous for coming on. Just like you said,
much.
got so much going on. You know, it takes a lot to come out and do, but like you said, hey, man, I go out there, I make sure I do the media and stuff like that, because the more I put into it, the more I'm going to get out of it, and the proof is there. Truth. So, again, a million thank yous for coming on. Don't forget, check out PCWUltra.com. Get all your information right there for the people. You know, hopefully we answered all your questions. If you're trying to get in, hey, man, come do some work. If Joseph sees how hard you put the work in or whatever, he's going to take a look at you. Of course, Dondo, for Gym Crashers, don't forget, got a lot of stuff coming up. You guys went to the Fit Expo.
We
made
did.
some big contacts over there.
Yep.
Don't forget, we have the live broadcast coming from NutriShop in Long Beach. It's going to be Saturday, January 20th. Make sure you come out. It's going to be from 11 till about 1:30 or so. We're going to do some Chop trivia. We have some stuff to give away. So we ask a question. If you get the question right, you get the prize. If not, somebody gets chopped. I'm hoping it's going to be Dondo, so we can hit him.
Chop me down.
A good chop in the chichona. So make sure you come out. Live broadcast, NutriShop in Long Beach, Saturday, January 20th. PCWUltra.com. Make sure you check it out. Huge show, January 19th. Even huge seminar with the great Muda. It's a once in a lifetime chance just to come and check that out, and just to be that close to him is huge. It's huge. You can't put a price on that. So make sure you check it out. Robert, go ahead and take us out of here. We'll see everybody next Monday right here, Full Contact Fanatics. See you guys next Monday.
Cool, man.
Oh, I gotta pee so bad.
Words of inspiration, though. I appreciate everything you're about.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna pee real fast.
Go for it.
No, I got to do the same, so I'm going to let you go first. So